Hello again everyone. We hope you find you well. We're back cruising again after our little go at cooking. This is where we continue our second part of a condensed cruising season. Quite a few things in this start-up vlog. First of all, I just want to talk a little bit about the pandemic. Now, loads of countries are dealing with it in different ways. But a country where there's a lot of concern, especially from the government, is Egypt of all places. They're really struggling. But the government don't like the idea of all the cities and towns being really quiet, because it's just not what the culture is. And they're thinking, once it gets back to normal, all the roads are going to be loud and they'll be shouting and everything. So they have come up with an idea, just to get people used to noise again. And what they decided, they want some men, don't know why, just men, not women, men to get the cars, apply for these jobs, and they'll get a car. And what the job is to go around the streets, making plenty of noise and round the cities. They've got a loud hailer on top as well for shouting some well-known words as well. Now, they didn't want it 24 hours a day because obviously that could cause upset. So they were going to put like a shift pattern in, and they decided 2 o'clock in the afternoon would be a good starting point until 10 at night. So they get a feeling of some daytime and some night time. So thousands of people applied for these jobs, even though it was that awkward shift, 2 o'clock till 10 at night. But they got the jobs. And what did these men do in the cars? Well, they started the car up at 2 o'clock and off they went. They had the loud hailer, and out the loud hailer, you know, they thought, well, we want something what's well known. So they kept shouting out the loud hailers, pyramids, mummies, tombs, and just kept doing it as they're driving around, so people get used to the noise. And we wonder if it's going to work. Or in Egypt, should I say, do they know it's going to work? But we'll see. Oh, by the way, the title of the jobs, what they had, was 210 Carmen. Apologies, but it's a little bit of light relief. Before setting off again, we made sure we had another batch of the wonderful Tiller Sunshine 6.8 IPA made by Bernadette's brother at his little microbrewery. It was important to have a few more of them because they are delicious. We're on our second part of our voyage now. back out on the canals. We'll see how it goes. Pretty sure we'll have another enjoyable time. I like the you know, the late summer autumn weather. It's very good. If you get the right weather, it's fantastic. And then eventually, not for a few weeks yet, but you'll see the trees starting to change, you know, and all the leaves drop, and we love everything like that. So the best thing to do now is to get on with our journey. We've just had a nice couple of days at one of our usual haunts at Cool Pilot. It's been quite windy again, which I'm just going to say is the norm now. But we're carrying on now. Just before we do, a few of you have asked us about slow TV, because we've got all the sounds everywhere now, so we can pick up loads of just the sound of nature and the water and that. I might give it a go. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, that, but I might give it a go and see what happens. But I've got to be honest, the pace we go, I don't think we could go any slower, because we certainly don't move far in a day. We just take everything in, and we'll moor whenever we feel like. Anyway, we're continuing our journey on the Shropshire for now, or on the Shropshire main line, but that will be changing. For us, it's a couple of hours away, but for you, probably 4 or 5 minutes. Anyway, on we go. Narrowboating for us is, we do it in a certain way, and we have our favourite canals, because over the years you can travel where you want, like we have. We've gone to plenty of places, but you still have your favourites. And I was just trundling along, and I'm just thinking, we're coming back to Green Locks. I'm just wondering how many times have we been up and down these locks? It's definitely many hundreds. Certainly is. And yet every time as well, it just feels different and just special every time. Yes, perhaps we really have got a narrowboat feeling. Well, I think we have, after all them decades. We still get the thrill. We really do. It's just lovely. There. You're already on.
Just watching We're on the Move and the pastors at Barbridge. Well then, sorry.
Yeah.
We're not on the film.
Oh, terrible.
I'll do an E and I'll run and do the lot for you.
Turn the camera.
You're alright.
Here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi. Whoa. Yeah, we're just going down. You don't like cities. I don't like Mormon and anything. His brother and his wife, they love to come back though. New York for a few days and then I'm thinking, oh. Yeah. Oi.
Oh, Bernadette, the next one on this side. Yeah, it's bad. I've got it. Watch this one as well. It gives
Going out faster than it's coming in. It's leaking out the bottom faster.
The double gates as we go down. Oh, what a leak. It would empty itself quite quickly if we stayed in, you know, so I suspect that'll have to be repaired very soon, because that's really bad. Now, before we continue any further, at Green lock number 2 has been a problem this year. Was a problem last year because we reported the same issue then and we reported it this year. It had an impact on what we wanted to do, because at half term our intention was to go up the Llangollen Canal. All sounds easy enough, doesn't it? But it didn't work out that way. As you can see in the video and pictures we've got, our videos are done not real time but quite a few weeks behind, and when we was on this initial cruise what you're watching now, that same problem what we've seen before was there at Green number 2. Like you say, we reported it and other people have, because you lose confidence if you see something like that. You know it's end of season, and you know at some point, you know, particular boaters like us who like being on the marina, we know we have to get back before the closures start, but we didn't have any confidence. Now that's all come to a head, and CRT, I don't know, for, you know, only CRT will know this, but they seem to be struggling a bit, and instead of trying to get the repair done, they fetched in a system with a winch. Now the winch put a lot of stress on the top gate, and it didn't look, I must be honest, it didn't look that safe to be doing that. I was waiting for something to happen. But they carried on as best they can. The boats were queuing up for hours there, because it took that long to try to, you know, to fill and empty that lock. But the disappointing thing is, many boaters, at the end of the season, many boaters, including ourselves, always like that final trip out. And we decided we'll go up the Llangollen Canal for half term. And other people had have wanted to go to the Trent and Mersey, down to Chester, you know, anything like that. And they couldn't do it. If you were on the wrong side of that lock, you couldn't do it, because CRT had actually closed it and were doing the major repairs. What I consider, and Burnett considered, to be the wrong time of the year. It should have been done earlier. So it's left a lot of people frustrated, and it's spoiled an already condensed season for us. We've been restricted even more. So that's just a point we're putting over. You know, we want CRT to succeed, very much so, but it can be very frustrating as a boater if you can't have confidence in going along a canal and going through the structures that are up and down, and that just needs to improve. So it's not a rant, it's just something what concerns us as very experienced boaters. Now we better continue with our cruise, and we hope you enjoy it. In a bit of a bad state at Green Lock number 2. The sill's broke. You can see somebody's had a problem in the past. That's been it very hard, and they snapped it. There's leaks both ends, extremely bad, so they will certainly have to be fixed. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's stoppages there sometime over winter, because it can't continue like that, because it's in a very poor state. As we go further down the Shropshire Union, I'll explain some of the really interesting information with what happened in a certain area. I just think it's amazing. But first of all, canals. They didn't exist, but cargoes from around the world still came to this country and found the way towards certain places. That's the best way of putting it. What used to happen, any town, city or anything which was lucky enough to have an estuary with a major river, and this example I'm talking about is Chester. Years ago, in the early 1700s, before that, Chester was known as a seaport. Seems amazing now saying that, doesn't it? But what happens is, when they didn't have canals, you used to get the big boats, like I've talked to previously, the Mersey flats, which can be used on the sea and can get cargo, and they were massive. They used to come up as far as they can up the navigation, and in this instance it was the D navigation, and they could come straight into Chester with all their goods, and for a while that was a very profitable area and they were making a fortune. But all that was going to change with Canal Mania, and I'll explain that a bit more, like I say, when we get through Nantwich, because once you get through Nantwich, that is when all the changes took place. But like I say, I'll let you wait till then. coming into an area known as Nantwich. This is an extremely year-round popular mooring area. We come here plenty of times, but on this occasion we're going straight through because we're trying to do a few things before the season comes to a close, you know, with the winter closures. But that's still a bit off yet. All this space here, it's not that boats don't want to moor here. They can't moor. It's an unusual one. The canal was here for many, many years. But property was built to the side below the height of the embankment. And for this stretch, CRT agreed to make it a no-go area for narrowboats. Even though all this was here hundreds of years before the houses. Strange decision, that one. How many times have we been over the aqueduct at Nantwich? Even since we started doing our vlogs, we've done it loads. We also go under it quite a lot when we're going to the marina. So it's a bit of a common sight, this one. We finished this video just about to go on the Chester Canal. We'll talk about that more in the next one. So I hope you found that one interesting, and as usual, as you know, we don't do it for anything but for our passion of canals. But you're quite welcome to subscribe, like, share, comment. Yeah, some, you know, we get some very intelligent comments, and we'll always get back to you one way or other. But that's it for now, and as usual, I'll finish off by saying we'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra!